Okay, it looks like I'm live. Hold on a second. Hello, hello. Give me a second real quick to, oh, I forgot to close the door. Hold on. I know I'm just a minute early, but my phone was doing something weird and it was saying didn't have Wi-Fi. So I was like, okay. So I was testing it. So as you get here, make sure you let me know that you're here while I try to see if I can get this to work. Bizarre. All right. Bizarre. Okay, I guess it was God and the universe wanting me to start, right? So here we are. So I'm going to give everybody a minute. Oh, I needed to add something here. So let me do that. And I've got some news today. I'm ready to share. So I hope your morning is going well. I've had so many things in my thoughts this morning. It's like I listened, those that know me, that I listen to books or YouTube or a podcast in the morning as I'm getting ready. And this morning, as I was listening to one, it's like it ignited this thought in my head. And then I wrote that down. And then a few minutes later, all of a sudden, this other thought popped in my head, and I wrote that down. And so it was like all these different things that were coming up this morning. And oh my gosh, how do I choose an affirmation and a journal prompt for all this? So it's like, okay, today I'll do this one, and then tomorrow. But it was just interesting. And so what I did was I would put them in my notes on my computer, because tomorrow when I get up and I start listening to things, it might be a totally different thing that comes up for me, right? So it's really interesting. And I have, I alluded the other day that I had another guest that was going to be coming up this month to be in the group to share her expertise. Good morning, Wendy. So good to see you here. And yesterday, I actually had my meeting with her, and I've got her all set up. So I can't wait to tell you about it. And I haven't created the event yet. So I'm going to be doing that today. So just kind of watch for it. And I would love for you to go ahead and sign up that you will be there. I really want to give her an amazing time. And thank you guys, the ones that were here last night for Katie Lane Day. I know Wendy, you were there last night. So wasn't it just off the chain? She had so much amazing information, and I had such a good conversation with her. And she's actually agreed to add something into my workshop and my program that I've got coming up. And so I'm super excited. But it was very, very good last night. She had a great time because we talked a little bit afterwards. So Wendy, if you don't mind, share, what was there one thing that stood out to you about last night's live with Katie? I'm putting you on the spot now, I know. And anybody that's here, make sure you're saying hello to let us know that you're here. Hi, Julie. Hi, great to have you. So you missed last night. It was lit. It was on fire. I had such a good time. And so I can't wait to share what's coming up on Friday. I'm so happy and excited. All right. So while I'm waiting to see, because there's such a delay on some of this stuff that we'll see what Wendy has to say. But before I start with this affirmation, oh, let's see. Had another meeting, so bummed it sounded awesome. Ah, it was awesome. And you can go back and watch the replay. It should be there in the group as having been alive. But if for some reason, I'll try to go back and look. If for some reason it's not there, then I did do it on StreamYard, so it should be recorded. Maybe start with what you know, don't hold back. Yeah, yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Wendy. She had so many amazing things that she helped me with some of my writing stuff. And then she was able to answer questions for people. And so it was great. And I loved that she took the time to just answer questions. And so sometimes I'd be talking, I'd say, well, here, you take it, because she was doing so good, right? All right. So the thing that I wanted to talk about today, and this goes with the affirmation, and I don't know that you'll recognize that they go together, but I promise you they do. So are you guys familiar with the Emoto? I don't know if I even say his name right, water experiment. So if you know what I'm talking about, put a 1 in the comments. If you don't, put a 2. So that way I'll know how much I need to share about that. But also, thank you guys for being here this morning. And anybody that is watching the replay, you can't get here for the live, that's okay. Watch the replay, but make sure you put hashtag replay. And then you can actually answer the questions in there too, so that we can connect, right? So Julie, all right. Okay, Wendy, you don't. All right, wonderful. And as you get here, make sure you say hello, let everybody know you're here, and we can all do this together. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and share the Emoto water experiment. And, I'm doing a very simplistic explanation of it. I have a book about it. I love this thing. But the gentleman, Emoto, and I can't remember his full name or anything, but he did this experiment with the water. And it's been done by other people since then. But he took water, and let's say some of the experiments that I've seen since then was they put water in a jar, regular plain old water in a jar, and they set these jars out. And then they put words on these jars. So like one was happiness, one was hate, one was fear. I don't remember, but there were positive words and there were negative words. And then they let them stay there for a little bit. And then they actually froze this water. And so they cut the ice, and you could see the water crystals. And the amazing thing was, and come to think of it, I think they put theirs in a dish, a petri dish, with that. But other people have done the same experiment with water jugs, bottles of water. Hello, Paul. Nice to have you here. And so what they found was that the water that had the positive words on it had beautiful, beautiful crystals. And it was like a design. You know how you see snowflakes and they're all different. Well, they were beautiful crystals, right? But the water that had the negative words like hate and fear, those were almost like they constricted, and they weren't beautiful at all. They were kind of abnormal looking, and some of them were even discolored. And it was amazing, right? And then the other experiment, it works with oil also. Oh, that's good to know. And so what some people have done is they've taken like a jar of water and done the same thing with writing on it, some words and stuff, and set it to the side. And the ones that had the negative words, the water would get all cloudy and yucky and slimy. And the ones with positive words would stay pretty clear, right? And the reason I'm bringing that up is because we are 90% water, our body is. And one of the alarming things that I learned this morning, and I had no idea about this, that one of the things that happens as you get older, if you don't take care of it, is that the water level in your body can diminish up to 50%. And that's why people start having some of that cognitive decline. Their muscles ache, they have headaches. There's all these different things. And I'm speaking to myself here because sometimes I don't drink enough water, especially if I'm looking at the fact that my water is diminishing in my body just naturally as that happens as you get older. And so it's like it makes it even more important to be drinking water, right? Yes, water has memory. Yes. And so when you think about our bodies are 90% water typically, right? And if you're a little bit older and maybe it's diminished, up your water intake, right? So that you have more water in your body. And the thing is that the words that we say, because remember, we're 90% water, and remember the water experiment, right? So the things that we say to ourselves, even if it's a joke, because I don't know how many people I've heard with depreciating humor. And it's like, I want to grab them and say, wait a minute, stop it, stop it. Because our does our subconscious know when we're joking? No. Does the water in our body know when we're joking? No. So every time we say things that are negative about ourselves, our body reacts. Even if we're saying negative things about the world, our community, right? And we can have opinions about things, but what happens a lot of times is we get so emotionally engrossed in the things that we think are wrong in the world. And it's happening really big right now with politics in the US, right? But as you really dig into that stuff, remember your water in your body is internalizing all of that information, right? And so we want to be more mindful of the water that we're putting in our bodies, making sure it's good water, making sure it's a filtered water, making sure that, it's life-giving water. And so one of the things that I was led to think about this morning was how much coffee I drink. And I do drink a lot of coffee. And coffee actually can deplete the water in your body too. Yes, so true. As far as mental decline, we lose our thirst and naturally become dehydrated. Yes, yes. And so it's being mindful of knowing things open up a whole new world, right? Because if we don't know, and the thing is, we don't know what we don't know. So right now, I'm telling you, right, that that's a natural process. So you have to not be drinking just when you're thirsty. You drink for life. You drink, like, one of the things, like, I have discovered too. I love coffee as well. I got my cup right here, second cup of the morning. But the thing that I've been doing recently, and I don't know if it's because I've been burning the candle at both ends, trying to get all these different things that I've got going on in life up and running, then I've been drinking a lot more coffee than I have water. So today I have decided that I'm going to let these 2 cups be my cup of coffee today. And I may have some tea later because I'm a tea fanatic too. And I feel like there are certain times a day I have to have my herbal tea. It just relaxes me, feels good. And anytime I'm doing a podcast, I've got a cup of tea with me. Something about it just comforts me. And like with my podcast, and I know I'm just going all over the place, but with my podcast, I feel like the people that are a guest on my podcast, we're sitting in my living room on the sofa and we're drinking a cup of tea and getting to know each other. And so I just feel like compelled to have that cup of tea with me because it just kind of fits the space of where I'm at, right? It helps remind me I'm getting to know this person. This is fun. And it's just a journey of connecting, right? So anyway, back to the water experiment. It is so amazing to think about. And so when you think about every time you have gratitude for things in your life, that gratitude, that appreciation, that love, all of those thoughts actually create this flow in your body that is amazing, right? Good morning, Lynn. Make sure you say hello in the comments. And I noticed that you sent a couple of people into the group. And so I sent them messages this morning to have them answer the questions. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. And so as we're using the water in our body to affect what's happening in us, right? We're looking at using the good, the powerful words. And I refer to this book all the time. So if you have read it, great. If you haven't, check it out. And I'll try to remember to put a link in the comments. But it is by Michael Singer, and it is called the Untethered Soul. But he also has the Surrender Experiment, and what's the other one? I got it over here somewhere. I don't remember what the other one's title is, but Living Untethered. I knew I had it over there. But if you can read the Untethered Soul, he doesn't talk about the water experiment, but he talks about how we talk to ourselves and how amazing that is, that we spend a lot of time in our heads talking to ourselves like we would be pissed if any of our friends or anybody else came up and talked to us in that way. And so it's a good reminder to speak kindly to yourself. And even if you feel like you've done something wrong or something you shouldn't have done, or you didn't do it right, whatever, it's finding the compassion there. So talk to yourself. If you did something right, like you would a young child, would you say, stupid kid, how did you do that? Why did you do? No. Well, really, you shouldn't, but there are people that do, but you wouldn't do that, would you? So think about it. My necklace is getting all skewed here. I don't know why that bothers me. Hold on. That's a test of my abilities to do things when everything looks backwards in the, in the camera. I don't know. Which way does it go? Which way? There we go. All right. So anyway, Vicki, please share about the power of our subconscious and wiring ourselves to be not only positive, but prosperous. Yes. And so when you're, okay, what was I saying before I got distracted with my necklace? You wouldn't talk to a little child about, almost like you got your hands around their neck and you're saying, stop it, you're being stupid, don't act like that, you know better. That's kind of how we act to ourselves in our mind when we're not doing what we think we should be doing, right? I know I'm guilty of it too. It's just catching yourself and saying, wait a minute, be kind. And like one of the things that I share a lot is that I have a picture of me at 5 years old that hangs on my wall in my bedroom. And I've had people before that ask me, why do you have this picture of you at 5 in your bedroom? That just seems weird. But I talk to her all the time. I tell her how much I love her and how things are going to be okay. And that no matter what she ends up dealing with, I know what they are, but anything that she deals with, that she's going to come out, feeling like an amazing human, even though in the moment it doesn't feel that way, right? And so that helps me to find that kindness in myself and not chastise the things that I've done, or to look at the things that have happened in my life as being bad or wrong. There's a lesson there. And I talk about that a lot. No matter what happens in our life, there are things that we learn from it, but because it has a purpose. So get its purpose out, figure out what that is, right? And so as Paul was alluding to, our subconscious mind constantly is thinking about who we are. And so I talk all the time about the lens of the world that we are looking through, right? And we create all of these stories within ourselves. From the age of birth to 8 years old, there is so much that happens, and it's all in there. It's all logged. And So as it's logged in there, it doesn't matter if it's true. And let's face it, there are times that people say things as a little child, you interpret it different than what it was supposed to be said, or because our mind does not have the ability to listen to sarcasm, right? Just go to my workout, so have to go. Wonderful way to start the day. Beautiful. Thank you for being here, Julie. Enjoy the hell out of your workout, and you can come back and watch the rest of it later. But before you go, real quick, I'm going to tell you live on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Laura Westman is going to be here, and she is a trainer that helps people with, oh my God, it just went right out of my head. Why did it just go out of my head? That is just crazy as a loon, right? Nope, not going to say that. That is interesting. She helps people. Don't you hate it when something's in your mind and it won't come out? Hold on. Why is that? Well, come back later, Julie. I'll tell you. All right. So anyway, back to our discussion. Means I need to be drinking more water, right, Paul? Oh my gosh. So anyway, as we're thinking about all of this and our thoughts that are going through our minds, since we're looking at the world through the lens of the things that have happened to us in our lives, it is not actually, a lot of it's not even true. It's just our interpretation of what people have said. But it doesn't matter if it's true or it's fiction. All that matters is that's what we think, right? That's what we've believed. And when it comes to so many things in our lives, we have, thank you, we have this idea of who we are. We have this perception of who we are. And so it's almost like, I can refer to it with weight easier than I can anything. If you're a person that weighs 150 pounds and you think you've weighed that for a long time and you really want to get down to 130, let's just say that. And you have been 150 and that's been your safe space, right? And you do all these amazing things to get down to 130. You'll stay there for a while, but at some point your subconscious mind is going to pop in and says, wait a minute, that's not who we are. We're not 130, we're 150. And so it's going to do everything it can. You're going to self-sabotage. You're going to have an injury. You're going to have different things that are going to happen to you to cause you to gain that weight back, and usually a little bit more. But the same thing goes with our finances. If we think if the most we've ever made is $100,000 and we have this goal to make $1 million, well, we might get to $1 million. But the thing that'll happen is our thermostat is set at 100, right? So we're going to have the economy is going to go crazy. We're going to have somebody's going to steal from us. We're going to say something on social media that takes people away from us. There's going to be all these different things that'll happen to bring you back to that 100,000 because you haven't changed your mindset. That's why not only why telling me to stop weighing myself was a game changer for my weight. Yes. It's amazing. Our subconscious mind is ultra powerful and it's there for a reason. It's there to protect us. And if you're like me and you've got extra weight around your belly, that's a protection. And so it's getting to that place where you can find out what that protection's for and let it go, right? And that's not even what I was going to be talking about today. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the affirmation. And just remember, I talked about the water experiment. So that's where I was going with all of this. So let me copy and paste this. But I can be all over the place sometimes. All right. So our affirmation for today is I am in love with my beautiful life. And remember, I talked about the Emoto water experiment. When you look at your life as beautiful and you talk about your life as beauty, whether it feels like it in the moment or not, what is that protection for? And let it go. Yes, yes, that's what we work through, right? And that's one of the things I'm working through right now for me. Um, so the affirmation, I am in love with my beautiful life, is to get you focused on the beauty of life, right? And so, like, one of the things I like to say is if you woke up this morning, beautiful life, because a lot of people didn't. A lot of people did not have the ability to open their eyes this morning and breathe, right? So, just for the fact that you're here right now, there are a plethora of things that you can find that are beautiful in your life. It's beautiful, like this morning, just to go through a few. It was beautiful that when I got up, I got to pet my cats, got to go feed my cats. Then I went and brushed my teeth. And oh my gosh, I make this amazing toothpaste now. Somebody else might not think it's amazing, but I love it. It's natural. And so I'm really grateful that I take the time to do that for myself and I utilize it, right? So that's something that I'm grateful for in my beautiful life. I think it's beautiful that I do that. And so I think it's beautiful that I got here in front of you. And even though I get distracted and maybe I can't improv, that's what it was. I knew it would come to me as I was thinking about it. Yes. Laura Westman will be here Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and she is an improv teacher, and she's a singer, and she does all these different things, but she's going to be helping us get into our creative space. And so it's beautiful, and I can't wait to share her with you guys, right? And I have a master class that's coming up on the 31st, and she's going to be part of that master class with me. So this is just a little snip of what she has to offer. And our master class is 5 p.m. Eastern on the 31st. So watch for the news about that, and make sure to take part. And I know that there are people watching this in other places. I've got it streaming out. So if you're here, and if I'm not acknowledging you, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's that the way things are set up now, I cannot see you. And so make sure that if this seems like an amazing group that you would like to be part of, then definitely go to VickyPoole.com, VICKIEPOOLE.com. Ask to join the group. And when you're prompted with the questions, make sure you answer the questions, because no questions, no entry. All right. So it's a hard, fast rule. So I'll see you there, right? I look forward to it. And I've had a few people that have been coming in just in the past few days. And it's just like the energy about the group is just expanding, and I'm loving it, right? So we are alive together and alive. Yes. Beautiful way to put that, Paul. All right. So remember the affirmation, I am in love with my beautiful life. That's a reminder of a beautiful life, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it. But remember, what we focus on, we create. And remember, our words are powerful. Our thoughts are powerful. So that 90% water that we've got in there, remember the water experiment. If you have this petri dish that says beautiful on it, it creates amazing crystals, right? But if you had the angst that you might feel sometimes in that petri dish, it's going to be gnarly. It's going to be not pretty at all, and it can even be discolored, because we pay attention. And I don't want to put this fear in you of everything you say is destroying you, right? But I want you to recognize that when you feed your body with water and with amazing words and thoughts, then it just makes your body better, your body beautiful, and your brain better, right? So it is important. And the way we do one thing is the way we do everything, right? And I know there are people that argue that point, but it is true. And sometimes, because if you slack on one thing, you're slacking somewhere else, whether you recognize it or not. And that's where coaches come in handy, because they can show us our blind spots. Because remember what I said, we don't know what we don't know. We can't see our own shit. We cannot see the things that we do automatically that somebody else can say, hey, wait a minute, you're supposed to be here, but I saw you doing this over here. Is that congruent with who you want to be? And, it's not somebody calling you out. What are we embodying? Yes. It's not that they're calling you out and chastising you. They're just connecting with you and saying, hey, be aware. You make the choices you want to make, but make sure you're making the choices on purpose. Because remember, we don't stay the same ever. We are always changing and growing. We're either changing to where we want to go, or we're changing to where we're not so happy to be. And so it's like we're either moving forward or we're moving backwards. There is no state that you're in and you don't change one way or the other. And so we want to change in powerful ways that enable us to be the best us possible. That's one of the reasons why yesterday I had Katie Lane on. Oh man, it was so amazing. Make sure you go back and watch the replay, right? And I even said there may be some more questions. So she's part of the group. And so go to that live and listen to it and ask questions in there, because she said she will come back and she will answer questions. So make sure you do that. And then Laura Westman will be here on Friday. Be here 6 p.m. Eastern, because, oh my gosh, it's going to be off the chain with her being able to help us to get into our creative space. And one of the things that I was opening up to yesterday was that there are times in my life that I've been off with someone. And let's say, I remember one time in particular, I was with this gentleman, and super great guy. And we were at this department store, and suddenly this music came on, and he started dancing around and he was singing and having a great time, right? And I wanted to join in so bad. But I looked around and I thought, what if somebody sees me? What if in today's world, right? What if it's on YouTube tomorrow? What if? What if? And so I smiled and I laughed and I didn't do anything. And that kind of makes me want to cry, right? And I have done that forever. And that's one of the reasons why I started my podcast, so I could use my voice and not filter it, but I filter my body and my actions too. And so one of the things that she's going to help me do, and maybe you, if that's something that is important to you, is to get out of my own way, so that when I feel the urge to just dance, to sing, and I'm not that great a singer, but I sound really good in a crowd, I will say that. I can be in a choir really good. I can be there. But I'm saying that because she's going to help me, and maybe you, to when I get into that place where I want to just be me instead of holding back, I feel capable of being me. I don't worry about what somebody else says or thinks or looks at me. And it's really, really interesting. As I started working with her, I had her on my podcast, and it was such a connection. And it was like, oh, I want that. I want that. And so I thought, with the program that I've got coming up, that would be the most beautiful thing to put into that program, right? And so she's going to be part of the workshop on the 31st. She's going to be part of the program. And so I'm just super excited to share her with you guys, because I always feel like if there's something that I need, then that's probably something a lot of the people that are around me and in my group need too. And so even if you're a person that can jump into the spotlight and do all that stuff, there's no telling what you don't know that she can help you with too, right? I haven't even gotten to the journal prompt yet. What in the heck? Let me get to the journal prompt. Oh, let's see, where we are. Oh, we're okay on time. Okay, our journal prompt today is to reflect on the beauty that is around you and write about your gratitude. Because the more we can show our gratitude for the simplest things and the big things, right? The more we actually energetically, magnetically bring more things to be grateful for. And so I remember the first time I started this, I started a gratitude journal, and I still have one. Don't always write in it. I'll be perfectly honest. I have several different journals, but anyway, the thing is, when I first started using it, my gratitude journal was, I opened my eyes, I had a great cup of coffee, the weather's nice. I couldn't find anything other than those kinds of things to be grateful for. And so over time, it's got where I can find so many things to be grateful for every single day. So I invite you today to get your journal out, get your notebook out, put the date, today's date, and put the affirmation and the journal prompt, and just spend a few moments before you start journaling. Take just a few moments to sit in silence and just quiet the noise. And I say this a lot, but the way that helps me to quiet the noise and the chatter in my mind, and it never stops, right? Because we've always got this voice going. But it quiets it down a little bit, is to sit and have no music, no anything playing, just silence, but you can hear things and you label it. Like, I can hear my computer, I can hear the ceiling fan, I can hear my chimes downstairs, I can hear my daughter moving around out there. So I would label the things, and it just kind of helps me get into this spot. And I would advise you, even if you're already ready for work, whatever it is that you're going to do, take your shoes off, put your feet on the floor, bare feet, and just ground in this place that you're in, and then start journaling. Because you're going to have different kinds of things that come to you when you take the time to get into this sacred space of allowing God to come through you, allowing the universe to bring out these things, right? And then write about everything, just brain dump as much as you can about the beauty around you and your gratitude for all the beauty. And even you can find gratitude in the things that aren't so beautiful, right? Because remember, I said there's a lesson in everything. And our world and our life is a reflection of all the lessons we've learned up till now, right? And then if we want to have things showing up in our life a little bit different, then today's the day to be different. And one of the things that you do is you do this affirmation in this journal prompt, and you brain dump, right? Just put as much as possible. You can even keep adding to it through the day, right? But the beauty of doing it this way is that in a month, 3 months, 6 months, you look back and you see, what were you grateful for then? And then you can see, oh my gosh, I have so much more to be grateful for. And you can just see how it expands out, right? And because remember, we're magnetically drawing things to us and creating within us. And the more gratitude that you can share through your words, through your handwriting, through your thoughts, the more things you will have coming to you to be grateful for, right? And so Has anybody got any questions? I know I kind of go off on a tangent. Yes, Wendy, so what? I know. And it's really weird how I'm an introvert, extrovert's kind of like what I say, because there's times I want to be just out and proud and loud, and I'll be the first one to raise my hand. I'll be the first one to jump, and yes, I want to do that. But then there's other times it's like, I don't know what the difference is, but the other times I kind of stand back and I want to be watching people and not being in the spotlight. And there's, thank you, Stacy. And there's times that when I'm around somebody and they do something and it's amazing and I want to participate, and I just hold myself back. And that is not me anymore, right? I've made a decision that I'm going to utilize my tools that I have. And then as I work with Laura, and then Stacy, I work with Stacy, and Stacy helps me tremendously with being able to understand that I have gifts and talents that sometimes I don't even recognize, right? And I want the same for you guys, for you to be able to decide today, who do you want to be, right? And how do you want to treat you? Do you want to be able to hug that 5-year-old you that may or may not be hanging in your bedroom, right? Giving yourself the gift of gratitude and loving your life. Oh, how delicious life can be. And it doesn't mean you don't have a bad day. We're human, for God's sake, right? Because I have bad days. And let me just share something really quick. Now this is totally off the chart here, I guess, but some of you may remember that I was having an issue with my hip, right? Don't know what I did, but I was having an issue. So I could go down the stairs and it would hurt my hip, but I could go up the stairs with no problem. I was starting to have achiness. I even bought one of these massage guns, started massaging it. I'm putting CBD stuff on there and everything. And I keep thinking, what the hell? And it just so happens, as things happen, that I got a little thing on Facebook about this hip challenge. And I thought, a hip challenge? Well, maybe I need that. And so yesterday was my second day in this 4-day hip challenge. And he was a personal trainer, and now he's a pain doctor. I don't remember exactly what he is, and I don't remember his name. I don't remember anything. Nice looking man, and is the most amazing teacher. And what's interesting is it's the simplest little movements he's having us do, and it's not easy. And the reason I am, hi Mickey, it's good to see you here. The thing that's amazing about it to me is that one of the things that he talks about, and this can go in every arena of our lives, right? And I know I'm going off into something, but I got a little bit more time this morning, okay? But the thing is that it's my hip that's the problem, right? So one of the things that we were working on was our feet. We were working on our rotation of our feet. And then we were working on our butt muscles. We were working on different things the first day, right? The second day, we did all those things again. And then he added a couple more, which was all about the shoulders. And so he even said that if one of your shoulders is wonky, that shoulder that feels a little tight or a little wonky, that's going to be the hip that's the problem. Damned if that's not true. So he was talking about how nothing in our body is working by itself. It's all connected, right? So if I've got a hip issue, sometimes it could be that our shoulders are not holding our bodies up the way they're supposed to, or maybe our feet are not functioning and balancing us the way we should, right? And so look at that in all areas. Like there's nothing that is by itself in our life, in our world. It's all connected. So when like the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if there's something lacking in your personal in your body, then there's probably something that you've neglected, right? Or maybe you didn't know you were neglecting it, but it's like that thing where you get signs, but you kind of start compensating. And that's why we have so many problems, like with my shoulder and with my hip, is that something starts getting a little bit off and you don't take care of it. And so something else starts trying to take care of it, and it causes an imbalance, right? And so we do that in everything if we're not mindful of it. So going back to that water experiment, right? If you are feeling anything in your body, maybe you're feeling like, I couldn't remember that thing this morning, right? It means I need to be drinking more water. If I've got a headache, maybe I just need to be drinking more water. And so whatever's going on, there's a connection somewhere. And that's with our business too, right? With our finances, with everything that goes on in our life. It's nothing is an island to itself. Everything is connected. So as you begin working on your mindset and talking kindly to yourself, it's going to filter out in other parts, because there's something going on in your life right now, and you may not even realize that it started when your mindset started going a little hayward, right? And it's starting to reflect in other parts of your body and other parts of your life. And so by starting today to move into the direction that you want your life to be, imagining it the way you want it to be, start here. Right? Our affirmation was to say and put it on your, let me pop it back up again. And I promise I'm almost done. But your affirmation is, I am in love with my beautiful life. So put it on your index cards, put it on your sticky notes, put it on the screensaver on your phone, put it on a mirror with your chalk marker, whatever you want to do to be able to today, whenever you have the thought something's going on, you just say, I'm in love with my beautiful life. Say it as often as you want to, all during the day. That's your go-to phrase today. I am in love with my beautiful life. It's an easy one to remember. It's short and it's sweet and it's beautiful, right? So go there. And then when you start with your journal prompt, reflect on the beauty that is around you and write about your gratitude. And as you're doing that, remember, you are altering your body, your mind, and your world. Just by doing this one activity, you are saying to yourself, I am taking control. I am powerful and I can do this. And I know you can. And they say the best time to make a difference is yesterday. When's the second best? Today. So if you feel like it's time and you're like me and you're tired of not doing the things that you want to do, or not feeling capable, not, seeing the things that may be perfect timing for this. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Stacy. If you're seeing things that are not exactly what you want, this is the simplest and best thing to start, right? And just like I said, that gentleman's doing this hip challenge, right? And do you think that doing foot circles and everything would have a damn thing to do with your hip? No, but it does. I can tell you, second day, yesterday, today, my hip feels so much better. And that's only after 2 days, right? But it's 2 days of focusing on the basics, the foundation, right? And sometimes we get so engrossed in what we want that we let the foundation crumble. And so part of your foundation is your inner dialogue, right? That is a huge piece of your foundation. So be mindful today. Utilize this affirmation in this journal prompt. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, again, right here. So what is it that show used to say? Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be here. All right. So I will see you then.